In just 7 days, we've crossed the world, leaving behind Baku and heading first time this year stateside. Welcome to the Miami Grand Prix. It's the 5th round on the calendar then. Verstappen Perez in the opening 4 of the season. 2 weeks time we go over to Emilia-Romagna in Imola, our first road course since Bahrain. Then we go over to Monaco, another street circuit before Spain in early June, then takes us to Canada, and at the end of June to early July it is Austria. British Grand Prix on the 9th of July, keep your dates open for that one as well. Hungary then up for round 12. Belgium takes us to the summer break on the 30th of July. A month later, we're in the Netherlands with Italy, back-to-back as well to early September. 2-week break before then off to Singapore and Japan, back-to-back. Then another break before going over for Qatar. Then another break before going to America once again, but at COTA. Then going to Mexico City. Then 2 weeks before Brazil, back-to-back with Las Vegas as well. And Abu Dhabi rounds out the season on the 26th of November. Max Verstappen leads by just 6 points then in the Drivers' Championship to Sergio Perez. Fernando Alonso not finished on the podium in Baku, but still with 3 points ahead of Hamilton, Sainz completing the top 5. Leclerc, Russell, Stroll, Norris and Hülkenberg have the top 10. The same top 10 from round 3, just shifted around. On the second page, Oscar Piastri, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly all with the same number of points on 4. 2 apiece for Zhou Guanyu and Yuki Tsunoda, 1 apiece for Albon and Magnussen, no points at all for Sargent or De Vries. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way on 180 points. They are 93 clear to Aston Martin, who are just ahead now of Mercedes. Ferrari and McLaren in a battle, but McLaren just getting back up and finding their feet with their upgrade packaging as well. Then we get Alpine ahead of Haas. Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri battle still going on. Williams in 10th on 1 point, but hey, all teams have points after the opening 4 races. It's the 2023 Miami Grand Prix here at the Hard Rock Stadium, and it's time for free practice 2. Let's take a look around the Miami International Autodrome, a 3.362-mile circuit, 19 turns, a total of 3 DRS zones. Drivers have mixed feelings on this track, but one thing is certain, it's fast. Get a good exit out of the last corner that sort of sweeps up together and hurtle down towards turn 1. You're in 8th gear as you cross the control line into a hard braking zone for a very fast right into turn 1. A left and a right sort of smooth silk part of the track that sort of goes single file as you approach into turn 5 and 6. A double left-hander that sort of builds up to a hip. It took a wide line through and then keep on the accelerator. The Marina section passed real water this year as well. This part of the track just wants to spit you out wide. You've got to get 2 correct entry points before a long back straightaway. This opens up the DRS system as well on the approach as well. Some cable cars in the top before a real heavy braking zone. 8th gear, DRS open. Are you ready? 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Slap on the brakes for a very tight and slow section of the track where it narrows down again. Think Baku with the amount of level. This then, the trickiest part, a 2 chicane that goes uphill, almost blind. Several crashes we saw there last season as well. Track narrows up then, it's just a single lane as you come down, then opens up to 2 lanes down the back straightaway. Perfect opportunity for DRS and an overtaking opportunity into the braking zone if you are feeling lucky enough. It's the longest stretch of the track that encompasses the entire two sectors together for a hard braking zone. The rear steps out here as well, so make sure you get it together. DRS detection point for the start line, good exit at the last corner, and that is a lap of the MIA at Hard Rock Stadium. Hello everybody and welcome to the Miami Grand Prix. We're up in the commentary box as well, all set to get going for round number 5 of this year's World Championship, and it's the second practice session as well. It is coming up on 10:20 p.m. here in the United Kingdom, and this session ends at 11:30, so we are once again putting in the night shift. Everything shifted today half an hour as well, later than planned, due to the fact that Sky and also getting permission into it as well was the FIA giving permission for the Fast and Furious production team to do some promotional shots on the grid. Sky did a wander up the pit lane with them, but they were actually out on the track doing some drifting with some of the cars that are in the upcoming Fast and Furious X, which I believe is out on May the 19th, which is not next Friday, but the Friday after as well. Joining me in the commentary box, he's now coming up on the screen actually, so I must have talked about it a bit too much. Tom Dillon will be with me in the commentary box as well. We're hoping Adam Lemrich is going to join us as well, but if not, Adam will be with us for practice. Sorry, we'll be with us for qualifying and the race, and I'm really looking forward to working with Adam again, because since he left the Grid Network, I haven't had a chance to work with him, and I'm really looking forward to having him up in the commentary box. He'll be with us for all of the America races this year, so he'll be with us for the race, of course, for the Miami Grand Prix, with us at COTA, Las Vegas, Canada. I'm even extending it to if he wants to be in Mexico and Brazil as well. Get him wherever you like as well. But down in the pit lane for us at the moment, we've got Omi as well. Josh is hanging around too, but good afternoon. Well, I suppose good evening, Omi. We're getting set for what should be an interesting second practice. What have you noticed down there already in the pit lane?
Yep, so obviously, as we discussed in FP1, more time for everyone to practice, so a bit more slower than it was last time around at Baku, because usually, so the second session on a Friday would be qualifying on the sprint weekend, so so we're back to normal, so practice once again, so more time for the teams, and, well, okay, I think they have a lot of work to do. I still think they have a lot of work to do, as we've seen quite a few mistakes, especially a lot of cars struggling, a lot of drivers reporting on the radio about struggling through some specific corners, especially turn number 6 and some of the other high-speed corners. But it's very interesting, and I've seen some people saying that Ferrari might be in the mix, Mercedes might be in the mix, and Red Bull, obviously, we already know they're going to be in the mix. So it could be a very interesting weekend, but let's not get our hopes too high.
Love that. Omi's now going to be with us for a lot more sessions now that we'd have to kick him out of the commentary box. Either Josh out of the commentary box when he's not there as well. But Josh is also in the commentary area as well with all his data screens as well, giving us information that we miss. Evening, Josh. And we're all set for, hopefully, it's going to be a very interesting weekend for practice too, because now we're getting to long runs, and this is what we like to see, a normal second practice take.
Yeah, it's going to be a good session indeed. Adam's just on his home from work, so hopefully he will be joining us shortly. But it'll be a good session either way as well. Unfortunately, my mic and headset's still not working, so I'm on the boom arm as well. But it'll all be good. Getting ready for FP2.
Yeah, the boys will be joining then as well, and Josh and Omi will be down the pits. In fact, here's Tom now as well, getting all set up as well. We'll give him a few moments as well to get prepared. Hello, Tom. You okay? We can hear you as well. We're going to have more commentators in the box, but it'll be you and Adam as the main ones in the box and 2 in the pit lane. A whole new format as well. Hello, Tom. How was Assetto Corsa?
Oh, it was good, thank you. Actually, I've got a new sim rig, as you can see behind me. I've basically found a new love for sim racing games. It's been very fun. I was driving the new Formula Hybrid car, the F123 car. It's quite a good car. I was enjoying it, I have to say. I mean, I think they've messed up slightly on the brakes, but other than that, it's a good car.
Well, I'm going to be delighted to get going for this session. Joe says, I think Mercedes are going to pull something out this weekend. It's time to tell. As well, don't forget, we'll be all set. Here it comes, free practice number 2 from Miami. We're all set to go then here in Miami for free practice number 2. This is the all-important run to see who is A, hot, and B, not hot, as we get in for the long runs. This is our traditional format that we've been missing since Baku and haven't really run since Australia. You can hear police sirens in the background as well. Don't be alarmed, that's all part of the normal procedure. This is going to be absolutely epic racing for round 5 of the season, our first of 3 visits to the United States of America. The Miami International Autodrome, 56.2 miles per hour is the full throttle average per lap. 349.3 kilometers an hour is top speed, 19 turns in total. Some fast flowing sections, then really tight closed up, like at the chicane at 14 and 15 with the Cambridge sponsorship. We've got C2 hard, C3 medium, C4 soft tyres brought into this weekend as well, so be warned as well, because tyres are going to get pushed to the maximum here in free practice 2. Alongside me in the commentary box is Tom Dillon. Adam Lembridge will be joining us shortly as well for this session. And down in the patrolling the pit lane, we've got Josh T and we've got Omi there as well. So a full box now of commentators. Tom, we look over Hard Rock Stadium. Amazing to think that we had flooding here, 3 weeks ago? It's dried out. The paddock's in the middle of the football stadium as well, and it's all set to go. Happy to be in America?
Well, as happy as one can be to be in America, but no, it's a very interesting track, isn't it? This one. I mean, the Hard Rock Stadium is one of the sporting coliseums of the United States. I think it's fair to say it's 64,000 capacity. They run all sorts over there, and it does actually hold the paddock this weekend. The paddock is completely inside of the Hard Rock Stadium, so that is also quite interesting and slightly different to what we had last year. But no, we enjoyed Miami last year, and I'm sort of excited to be here this year.
I love our current wardrobe attire. I've gone full on Miami with the flowery shirt and beige trousers. You, however, has come as a traditional English gentleman.
Yes, I know, and I have to concede. My grandma's been delving into my clothes shopping recently, and
it looks great.
She's bought me a couple of very nice jumpers. I don't know what the brand is, but anyway, she seems to like the brand.
I like it. Can I have one?
Nice.
That's something I would wear if it wasn't for this. Can I get one?
Yeah, it's actually only a jumper. The shirt is sort of like pegged onto the
oh wow,
inside of all in one. Technology, Josh. Technology is incredible.
Oh, I love it. All in one as well. Let's look at the Hard Rock Stadium as well. Now, clouds are an issue here, Tom. It's dry today, but tomorrow for qualifying in the race, it looks like we're going to have wet, wet, wet. Are you expecting that we could be here for a lot longer for qualifying tomorrow?
Yes, the rain is a concern pretty much in Miami and, of course, in the UK as well. I know I'm at a karting event tomorrow, and we're expecting that to be pretty much in deluge all day. It's a 6-hour day or something, and essentially it's going to be wet for the entire time. So thankfully you can run karts in the wet. F1 cars don't like it so much. Obviously there's all of the controversy surrounding whether we want to be using the wet tyres. Teams are quite hesitant to go onto the wet tyres. They prefer the intermediates, of course. We know that much from the last couple of years. So that means that the FIA then are more hesitant to let the cars out of the pits, essentially, onto those intermediate tyres because of the spray. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that happens. Or I may be getting it wrong. Is it the wet tyres they enjoy running, but not the intermediates?
No, it's the other way around. They enjoy running the inters, not the wets. You got it spot on.
Yes, there
Yeah.
you go.
After, do you remember Japan as well with all these intermediate runs as well that they did on the start? They should have really been full wet, but it wasn't. And we were all standing around waiting for absolutely ages for a race to restart. 2 hours as well of not talking, so that's going to be fun. Green light, however, is on at the end of the pit lane, and free practice 2 is go now. And the first car out is Valtteri Bottas. So final hour of running. At least it's not like usual with 60 minutes we have to wait around. Sorry, 90 minutes like at Kota. It's only the 60. And let's go down to the pit lane then. Josh, anything as well as the cars head out the circuit as we come through? We know Hulkenberg had a bad run in practice. Is there any news on him, if he's going to be in the session or not?
I can have a quick look for you. Let's just load up the Twitter and have a look at past F1s.
Sounds all good.
The front and rear right corners have been rebuilt after Nico's accident
Right.
and is taking shape to be ready to feature in FP2. So it looks like they are.
So Hulkenberg will be there as well. Omi, down with you as well. Presumably you've got access to everything. I'm going to throw down to Ted Kravitz first, Omi, so that's not coming to you by surprise. Ted.
In the UK, I know you're watching other people. We have other people watching us around the world, but in the UK, it's after dark. So can we give them, Crofty, a kind of post-watershed practice session? That's just a thought.
Watershed practice session.
Well, it is a post-watershed practice session, isn't it? I don't know what that means, but anyway, I see a car going anyway. It's just a thought I had. Not bleeping out the radio messages, perhaps?
No, I don't think so.
No, we're not going to do that. Because, of course, this gets repeated. So it's a silly idea. But we do have a red light. Red light spells danger at Esteban Ocon. So it's not going anywhere at the moment. Normally, the red light means that the energy recovery system is unsafe. But the little light above the driver's head, just by the T-bar on the little helmet camera, the overhead camera, is green. So I know the car is safe, so I think they're just waiting for it to go. So it's just a little sign for the mechanics that not everything, the car is not quite ready to go. But it's not anything that isn't safe or anything. But we're going to see everybody do a bit more setup work. And just talking to the Alpine team boss, Otmar Zaf, now between the sessions, Crofty, was saying, thank heavens for more practice time. They've just had the time to just double shake down all the new developments on the car, the new floor, the new front wing, the new rear wing, and they're hoping that it'll actually result. Oh, now the light's gone green again. No, excellent. Now it's gone white.
Was it
Do you know
disco?
what? I don't know what's going on here. This is a bit odd. Maybe
Disco
the lights
Ted.
don't work.
Okay, thanks, Ted. Omi, coming back down to you then. Are we expecting to see some long runs in this session and some more sort of medium to hard tyre runs? Because this morning at the end of P1 we saw them on soft tyres. Now, surely hards and mediums for the runs, longers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so most teams are going to be going for race trims now in this session. So obviously it's going to take. So the race takes place about. I mean, it does take place about 2 hours earlier than currently. So it takes place at 8:30 UK time. But in FP2, the teams usually like to do all of their race trims and all of their race runs. So we're definitely going to be seeing more of the race trims, and obviously, as you said, at the end of FP1, we saw a lot of soft tire runs, but we might be seeing a few at the beginning, but mostly towards the end, it'll be mediums and hards. All the teams preparing and doing some race trims.
Amazing. Thanks, Omi and Josh, and both of you as well. If you see anything that you want to shout, just interrupt me and tell me in the commentary. That'd be fine. And when Adam, when he gets here as well, just finished work, of course, because it's 5:30 over there on Eastern Time, and understandably, Adam's been at work all day. And finally, Tom Ocon does lead the pit lane, so I think that was just a light failure that Ted was talking about. But what was something that struck you in Azerbaijan, the sort of non-race that we had a week ago with Perez and Verstappen dominating? Did you spot any gems from that miserable race weekend?
Not really. I mean, I think this general frustration isn't there around the paddock. No, not necessarily around the paddock, particularly amongst the fan base, that one-stop races need to be taken out of favour when you compare them to, some of the two-stop, three-stop races that we've seen that can be very entertaining. And obviously teams will prefer the one-stop if they can go and use it. It is pretty much the preferred option.
Yeah.
just less risk. Essentially, is the answer to that. And so Verstappen's gone fastest, by the way, 130.7. But yeah, I don't necessarily agree. I think one-stop races should be okay. I think Pirelli are in a bit of a difficult situation when you're making this sort of bespoke tyre that isn't perhaps performing to the extent that we expect them to. As welcome Adam to the box. I'll just quickly finish the point as well, though. I think there's a bit of stuff people saying maybe places like Azerbaijan don't belong on the calendar, and it does annoy me that we have one bad race at a place and all of a sudden it doesn't belong on the calendar.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure how I go along with that. I mean, I've been saying Azerbaijan's rubbish for many years, but anyway, that's by the by.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you decided to say that Azerbaijan was rubbish, considering we've had some quite good races there. Right, we're just getting set up in the comms box as well to welcome Adam into the team, and I'm very excited actually to have Adam back. I've been waiting for him to return to the commentary box for a very long time, and he knows that. I've been telling him as well. So while we just get that sorted up here as well, we've had a bit of a tech issue actually, because for some reason the two HDMIs have sort of changed over each other on the commentary. So while we try and get that sorted, and the stream glitches itself as well, I'll ask you a question, Tom, before we get Adam, because I can't do it. Do we think McLaren are properly back? We've seen 2-point score finishes for them now as well. Are they in contention for this to midfield battle to really spring a surprise?
They've got to be in contention for this midfield battle. That is pretty much the minimum for McLaren. To be honest with you, I think it may just be a case of trust the process. They've got a good management structure in place. Zach Brown is very competent, got a lot of money as well with the Bahrainis involved over there. And then Norris and Piastri is a very strong driver pairing. So at the end of the day, with that sort of driver pairing, it's eventually going to come good for them. And I'm sort of expecting us to see that today. What I am interested in McLaren, though, which I found quite funny, is because of Miami's regulations, they've had to put a nicotine warning on the side pod of their car. Because of the if you watch as he goes past with the side pod, there's a big white box above the Velo sponsor, because it's a vape.
That's in IndyCar as well.
Oh, is it IndyCar too? Ah, right. Well, this is going to be a commentary team for a first. We've all got glasses on. Welcoming back to the JB Motorsport team with a yellow flag, I would like to say, in the middle sector as it goes green. So that's welcome you back with drama. Adam Lemrich is back. Hello, Adam. Welcome back to the team. I've waited for this for a very long time. How are you?
Good, Josh. It's good to, it's really good to be back with you guys again. And as you can tell, I have on my McLaren orange, and it's a fabulous weekend in.
I can't wait.
And FP1, we saw the Mercedes duo of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton 1-2. Kind of shocking to me, but anything can happen. It's called. Oh yeah, I'll give you a new nickname for Checo Perez since he does really good on street circuits. I call him the Street Master.
Right, we'll get that down. Street Master for Checo Perez. Adam, it's brilliant to have you back. Can't wait to have you both in qualifying and the race this weekend.
Noted.
Hopefully for more.
I can't wait, Josh, and all I can say is tomorrow's a really huge day for all of you in the UK, as the coronation of Prince Charles now becomes King Charles. And yes, I will be away, when it all starts at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over here. And it's a huge day for all you guys, so I'm very happy.
Thank you, Adam. We will be watching as well up here in the comments box as well. We've seen Kevin Magnussen, though, have a little bit of a moment coming through into the 14-15 chicane, and he has damaged the front end of his tyres. I think Hamilton's having a bit of a wiggle there too. That's why we had another yellow briefly when you actually joined, Adam. But Tom, that's two Haas cars now who have probably lost it for completely no reason. Hulkenberg did it this morning, and now Magnussen's done it in the afternoon.
Well, the thing that happened with Hulkenberg was that he got offline, and we know we've seen that at Miami, particularly in the sort of green circuit that you expect from an FP1 section. So I don't think there was a major concern there. Might just be a coincidence. I mean, that chicane is uphill. It's slightly off camber, I believe. Haven't driven it, obviously, so I'm not too sure, but it's slightly off camber, so it's just a corner that we see drivers having issues with. I mean, Esteban Ocon, was it crashed there last year?
Yeah.
And a few drivers actually got caught out at that corner.
I'm just glad that we're not sat here for 90 minutes, gentlemen, as well, because of what happened last year in Kota. Although it did give us that wonderful setting sun shot with the American flag in the background. And Charlotte Leclerc. Suppose, Adam,
Yes, Josh.
that made it worth it, didn't Adam? That little top front
Yeah,
moment
it
we
did.
had.
And you were mentioning, I was the male equivalent of Danica Patrick. I was at lunch when you said that, Josh, and I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
It's called.
Well, Jackie,
I'll agree with that. I mean, but at least it's called. We don't know Danica Patrick. We know of her, but we don't know her like in person. But all of you know me, so I'll take that compliment. Thanks.
Yeah, we've
I
got
think
you
you're
on.
the spitting image, Adam.
Spitty.
Well,
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, thanks, Tom.
I can't wait. And honestly, I think, yeah. Oh, look. Finally, Red Bull have taken my suggestion. Get the Miami Vice logo on, but put it on the side of the car. So someone's read my tweet.
Verstappen headrest
hang on.
issues again.
Okay.
Are we doing sunglasses?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh
Got
yeah.
that on.
Because since we're in Miami, I might as well look part. What do you guys think?
I've joined you, Adam. I've put mine on as well. My lovely blue glasses to watch the commentary on. Actually, it's a better picture when I put these on.
It's a sunny day down there, so I thought I would wear my sunglasses too. And it's called. And those Red Bull cars need to. Because I don't like that paint scheme. It's called. They need to have more of a Miami Vice, look like they did. Like from the 80s.
Yeah.
It would be proper.
I agree.
What do you guys think?
I agree with you. We need a proper 80s theme for Miami Vice. I'll continue that, but Martin Brundle is down at turn 6. But I completely agree with that, and we need more on that and a bit more paint.
Marina turns 6, 7, and 8. Cars are turning up at great speed, and it's one of those frustrating series of corners that gets slower. 7 slower than 6, 8 slower than 7. And you see cars having to really struggle. It's sort of Cheatsville on the outside as well. If you run a little bit wide, it's very easy to go all 4 wheels off, but plenty of runoff areas. You can see the sea of teal, as Jensen calls it. Lovely colour here. There's plenty of space, but I have seen quite a lot of drivers making mistakes here and running wide, and it's really dirty on the outside. I was talking to somebody from the FIA earlier on, and they were saying they really want to clean the track up offline this evening, give it a good sweep, because it is a brand new surface and inevitably a certain amount of the stones will come up. But I think the surface is holding good and fast, and also a lot of drivers try to get out of the way coming through here as well, make space for others. And as we see the Alfa Romeo there, full of Floviz paint on the back, that paraffin, green paraffin that shows the engineers and designers where the air is flowing. We see it, of course, beautifully on a rainy day as well, especially after the cars have been out and all the mud, all the dirty water stays on the car. This is a great way of doing it when it's just air and on a nice, clean, sunny day like this. But look at the speed that Lewis Hamilton turns up with there. Leaning, you can see the right rear tyre, the sidewall, just absorbing the massive lateral loads and the downforce that it's generating. But Lewis quite clearly more confident through there than many other cars I've seen. I must say that looked good there with the Mercedes coming through this particular corner. But the place looks sparkling. So much has changed. Even just getting here for me and Lee was so different, because it's matured and changed and developed since last year, and really lovely sort of walkways everywhere now for the fans. But all eyes are on this ribbon of tarmac coming through here at the marina. There's a swimming pool or two over there with actual real water in this year as well, I see. But for now, it's all about finding the sweet spot, and I think you're tempted in these kind of corners to take more and more speed in, and then all of a sudden it's too much. And because the track keeps slowing down on you, you're overcommitted. There's nothing you can do about it. So lots of errors, lots of surprises. We're going to move on. We're going to move up towards nearer the start of the lap, actually. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Martin. As we saw, Lewis Hamilton has missed the apex down at turn 14 as well. Josh, just coming to you in the pit lane, you said something about Verstappen a few moments ago.
Yeah, he's got problems with his headrest again.
Yeah, he's come back out on the track and has just gone fastest. And this is Hamilton cutting turn 14 at the Cambridge chicane and just rumbles over it as well.
Bonk.
Bonk corner, yeah, that's this year's one coming through. This is going to be quite interesting as Sainz comes through again. So Verstappen 129. Whoa, Ferrari was twitching at the back. 129, 380. Leclerc second, Perez third, Russell fourth, Ocon top 5. And yeah, Tom, just asking you a quick question as well about this. Ferrari, we talked about Mercedes having pace. Ferrari said they didn't get as much out of their upgrade as they wanted to in Baku. Red Bull said similar. Are Ferrari a contender this weekend like they were in Baku, or is it just a track-only sort of situation we've got to be worried about with them?
I'm not really sure. I mean, they're not exactly two similar circuits to each other, Baku and Miami. Obviously, Baku's got a lot of 90-degree corners, a lot of heavy traction zones as well as you head out of sort of turn 3, turn 4 as well, because all of those 90-degree corners, you can't really, you've got to put your foot down quite a lot through there. And Ferrari has, well, I say now it's turning into a little bit of a tradition that they are quite fast there. They were fast there in 21, setting pole position, 23 now, obviously, on pole position, and 2022, of course, as well. So, you know, you would be inclined to say on that yes, okay, Ferrari has just got a good track in Baku, but maybe they can bring it here in Miami as well. I mean, Charles Leclerc is an incredible qualifier, and I do believe that car has got a pole position in it again with Charles Leclerc.
Adam, what's your take on Ferrari's resurgence? What did you make of Baku as well in the last race?
Well, first of all, you know, this year is the year of Red Bull, and what Checo did, you know, in Baku was incredible. So we all, I picked Max Verstappen to win, and I didn't get it right. But
I
it's
didn't.
like,
I lost it as well.
like I said, Checo is the street master, and it's like when he got Max Verstappen, you know, he had the lead, but when he came in for a pit stop, he lost the lead, and it was like it was game over for him, and Checo ran away with the race. You know, this weekend we've seen Mercedes up there, you know, first 2 positions in free practice 1. So will Mercedes, you know, score a podium? I mean, I don't know. All I know is we're living in a Red Bull world, and
2 seconds.
if you want
My goodness. Yeah, that was a bit.
So that was just Perez saying, "Oh my goodness, he's engineer as well," because he got whacked up one of the AlphaTauris. I'll let you continue, Adam.
to, it's called, we're in a Red Bull world, and if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And right now, Red Bull's on top again, and you know, I think we could see Checo and Max, you know, going at it, you know, to see which is the top driver. I mean, Checo can win more races this year. I mean, so I think Max Verstappen's going to have his hands full when it comes to a championship, because Checo could steal it right under Max's nose. I mean, look what happened last weekend at Baku, and we're here at another street circuit. Checo could dominate again, and then, I mean, Las Vegas is a street circuit at the end of the year.
Oh, good
we
point.
count out. Could we say Checo wins there? I mean, but all I know is we're in a Red Bull world, and
I'll get the Red
they're
Bulls.
hard to beat.
I'll get the Red Bulls. Absolutely. I will need them. Tell you what, though, if Red Bull win the championship before the summer break, I'll commentate one of the races in a Red Bull shirt. for sure. Go on, Tom.
Okay.
Perez.
All right, Josh. It's called. Okay.
Flag for
Okay.
in the pit entry line, Josh. I did see it on the. I also sorry, Josh Turner. I appreciate that was probably what you were just about to bring up, and I've sort of cut in there. But no, he I did see that on the broadcast when I was sort of doing my little bit of waffle, and yeah, it's well, obviously it's not a huge deal. Just can't do that again.
Look who's top.
Lando Norris,
There goes Norris.
128.7.
Hey, what color shirt am I wearing?
Haha, orange. You're the good luck charm.
Thank you.
It
Thank
is
you.
Soft
It's called-
tyres. I wonder if that's a glory
Thank you.
run. Oh, Ted's in the pits of Verstappen.
See some bodywork after this crash. Spoke to Gunther Steiner pretty much immediately after the crash. He said he's worried that Nico would have done the gearbox. I don't think it ever looked like the impact, the rear impact, Crofty, was that severe, was it? But there was a clonk around the gearbox area. There you go, there's the clonk, which is why Gunther thought it might be a gearbox. But confirmed there didn't need to change a gearbox or anything like that. So the repairs were fairly straightforward. Doesn't mean to say they were easy to do. So yeah, a late lunch was cancelled here at Haas while they got that car ready. And it's out going again.
Here's Perez's line, Tom. This is what you saw. That was the briefest of cuts, wasn't it? Like the smallest amount.
He must have been called in quite late by the team. Either that or he's still a little bit later than you'd expect. You really want to be going in through the blend line rather than that late. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a relatively new racetrack, so these things, as stupid as it sounds, you can get wrong. At the end of the day, there's no harm, because there was no one near him on the circuit. Just he will get a slap on the wrist, really, and be told not to do that again.
You will.
Adam, I've got a question that I've been asked many times and I can't answer it, and I'm hoping you can. America, we talked about this last year as well when we had 2 races, but now this year we've got 3 with Las Vegas coming. And many people saying they run the risk of doing what NASCAR has sort of done and sort of dilute the product a bit with too many races, a complicated system with playoffs and that lot. We have 3 Grand Prix and a sprint race in America because coaches are double. Has Formula One properly now settled more? We've had the hype, as we lose TV pictures, they've had the hype from Drive to Survive. Has it now sort of settled and now we have a genuine, passionate fan base in America?
Yes. I think now, there's a lot of fans that are tuning into Formula One. You have Logan Sargent this year who's obviously from the United States, and that brings a huge following. You mentioned Drive to Survive. You mentioned the 3 F1 stops now. I think, F1 is continuing, to grow its popularity here in the States. I mean, this weekend, F1 is on the same time as the NASCAR Cup Series race at Kansas, so probably a lot of people will be watching Formula One on one TV and then NASCAR on the other TV. It's going to be interesting to see what the demographics look like after these races are over. I mean, I can say I have a lot of friends who watch Formula One and they really enjoy it. I mean, I never thought I would see 3 F1 races here in the United States. I mean, all I know is Las Vegas, under the lights, oh boy. That's going to be a very cool experience for fans, and especially if you want to stay awake and watch it, since it starts at 1 a.m. Eastern time. And yes, I will be awake for that. And I know you guys over there in the UK get an early start too. But, I think the popularity here in the United States is growing with Formula One. I think it's going to continue.
First race on a Saturday since the 1980s as well coming up.
Yes.
And I know, Adam, you're going to be... you're welcome in the box, as I said. All the American races this year, you can come in and have a chat
I will
with
be.
us.
And actually, Josh, I would like to come join you for one of the practices for the Italian Grand Prix in a couple weeks since. I'll be on a mini vacation here to see some friends, but I always love Monza, and my dad's half my family is Italian, so
Oh, yes, we'll bring you on.
hopefully I can join you guys, for at least one of the practices, for the Italian Grand Prix at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza.
You are absolutely welcome, of course you are. Anytime you want to pop in the box as well. We'll kick anybody else out for you to get in as well. Speaking of kicking out, Omi, hello. Throwing to you as well. Have you noticed anything in the break? We've had 25 minutes of the session so far. And have you noticed anything on your socials? It's probably, I've thrown to you. There we go.
Yeah, okay, so I haven't noticed much on the socials, but currently as Sky are on an ad break, but we're seeing some of the soft runs currently before they're obviously going to switch to the race trim. So Norris, Sainz, Alonso, Piastri, currently the top 4, and then we also have some other drivers now going on a set of soft. So okay, so I think they're just getting the soft out of the way. I'm just going to have to turn this off before you guys hear an Alonso Aston Martin radio.
If we want to hear it, we can hear it.
I think it's... Yeah, I think it's gone anyway now, but... So yeah. Okay, so they're getting the softs, so they're using the softs now, and then they'll be switching over right to the race trims and getting it all done later on in about the 25 minutes of the session remaining. But Leclerc currently also pushing on as well.
Ace, thank you very much as well. This is Leclerc a few moments ago locking up and going a little bit wide at the hairpin at turn 17. Just want to bring up, guys, we saw Joe Bauer there, the FIA technical delegate, the policeman, just speaking with Red Bull, saying about that headrest as well. Now, that happened in practice 1. Are we possibly seeing another problem with Red Bull in terms of something that they can't really design? I mean, Adam, we've seen that before, haven't we? Do you remember the Flexi wing back in 2010? That got banned.
Yes.
Is this another thing with Red Bull, that it's the smallest part that lets them down?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned free practice 1, and I was surprised to see Max Verstappen not leading. He's been so dominant this year, but maybe that headrest had something to do with it. I mean, but I think Max Verstappen is going to be one driver you've got to watch this weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I love the shirt that a fan had on the back. It said, Checo is a legend. Yeah, he's a legend, all right.
It brought up Abu Dhabi 21, though, and I don't want to see that again. Albon.
Oh, do we? Oh, I remember that one. Oh, it's called. We all remember Abu Dhabi 2021. That was the race that that'll stick in people's minds for a long, long time, probably for the rest of their lives.
That last lap, I thought.
Yes, I remember, Josh. I remember you calling that, and it's called. That sticks in my head.
A major boo-boo, though, because literally it was 9 turns of utter drama, and by the time Verstappen had got ahead, my brain had just sort of melted. So I went, and Verstappen, he leads in Baku. I was trying to say Abu Dhabi, but all I had in my mind was, because they were so close together coming into turn 9 touching, I thought in my brain, if Verstappen got a puncture, it'll be just like in Baku. So my brain was already thinking 3 steps ahead to whether or not, if Verstappen went out of the race with a puncture, I could say, oh, it's just like in Baku. So, and then I tried to say Abu Dhabi, and my brain just went, nope, sorry, you've got Baku. Christian Horner's on the pit wall, though. He remembers that day. He's still shaking from it.
I think because it's very much a prescriptive part, he's just catching there's a part on the back of it that just keeps catching on the back of the headrest. So we need to get permission from the FIA to make sure that any modifications are obviously compliant tonight. So I think we've got a quick fix for it now.
Excellent, but you quick fix now and then make some proper modifications overnight. Hasn't slowed down his pace. Sergio Perez, meanwhile, we saw dash into the pit lane rather late with a black and white flag. Will you be reading in the regulations at the end of this session?
He's fully aware of what the black and white stands for, so yeah, he's had his warning, and hopefully it doesn't. He doesn't make the same mistake again.
So Christian, Anthony here. What's the program now for both drivers? The car looks like it's pretty well hooked up.
Yeah, they're going to probably have another go at it. Checo's just had a little front wing adjustment just because there's a big delta between these tyres, so the balance shifts a bit. And I think Max got a little bit of traffic in the first sector as well, so both haven't had totally clean laps, and we'll see if the tyres have got a second lap in them. So and then chuck a bit of fuel in and try and emulate what we might get in the race.
Christian, Danica here. Can you summarize what it is handling-wise that each of the drivers are working with to fix right now?
Yeah, it's always fine margins, so it's either a bit of understeer or a bit of, you know, the rears go off a little bit, and of course front wing can ironically affect the rear of the car as well. So it's all about fine-tuning, and at the same time the circuit is just getting grippier and grippier, so it's just ramping up, and you're trying to go with the circuit but also improve your car at the same time.
And just finally, Christian, one person does not make a team, but we hear that Adrian Newey has extended his contract to stay with Red Bull. Was that difficult persuasion? How many more years is he going to be with you, and how do you feel about that?
Well, Adrian and I work together. We've been sitting next to each other. He has no idea what we're talking about while he's sitting next to me, by the way. For 18 years now, and so you know, it's inevitable that we were just going to extend that, and he's a great part of the team. It's great to have him with us, and of course the team continues to evolve. We've got, you know, strength and depth, but to have Adrian for you know, the longer term with us is you know, is fantastic for everyone in the team.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great news for you. I'm sure the rest of the paddock might think a little bit differently. They might have fancied their chances with him, but you got your man.
Yeah, it's you know, team's not ever just about one person, of course, but you know, he's a key player in our organisation, and you know, it's great to have him. He enjoys the environment that he works. He enjoys working with the young, talented engineers, and we've got some incredibly incredible talent that we're nurturing and developing, and you know, that stimulates him. So you know, he's 64 years young and just as motivated as ever.
Excellent. Christian, thanks ever so much. We'll speak to you.
Christian Horner there on the pit wall. Do you know, gents, I saw a fantastic image the other day of, as we just see George Russell through turns 4, 5 and 6, and he's got a car in the way. It's one of the McLarens, and he's going to complain on the radio.
That was a timely place, the McLaren.
Yeah, and there's more traffic in front of him. Well, that was a few moments ago. I think we saw that live, actually, because there's Magnussen coming out of the pit lane as well after his little ding-dong. Okay, yeah, so saw a tweet as well. Adam, you're going to be familiar. I don't know if you're going to be familiar with it too much, Tom, but Hocus Pocus, the characters, Bette Midler as well, Sarah Jessica Parker, the third lady, I can't remember. But we had the Sanderson sisters as Christian Horner, Adrian Newey, and Max Verstappen as well. And that's sort of going around as... and we've got Adrian Newey, the reason he's always so young is because it's sucking the lives out of children. Like that Sarah Jessica Parker line.
I know I'm young, Josh, but I know what Hocus Pocus is.
I'm just double checking.
It's not that old. It's not that old.
It's 1993.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a yellow, guys. Yellow flag. So, Sector 3. Albon, I believe, has come to a stop. And now he's got going again, and we've got green. So, I think it was Albon who maybe had a lock up at turn 17. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, sorry, Adam, I cut you off there.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Horner and Adrian Newey go back a long time. So happy to see Adrian stay at Red Bull, you know, for a while. And that team is going to be the team to beat for a long time to come. I wouldn't be surprised if they win at least a couple more driver championships and a couple more constructors championships. I mean, you think back to the years when Ayrton Senna, you know, drove for McLaren, you know, and his teammate was Alain Prost, and how many races did they win in one year? Like 15 out of 16.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 80s, and it was like, but I think that's what we're seeing now with Checo and Max Verstappen. I mean, those two are on top of the F1 world, and they're a team to beat, you know, for the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like that, but it is what it is.
I just want to say Ed Hunter's interrupted on the YouTube chat, saying, hey Josh, should we do FE qualifying together for a change tomorrow? Sorry to interrupt. I was going to message you actually, Ed. Yes, let's do it. Let's do FE qualifying. Practice is also live just for this weekend because Formula E now have sort of put practice one on a Friday and practice two on Saturday morning, but because we're in Monaco, it's back to being a single day event, so it's very hard to get all the edits done, 2 practice sessions edited in one morning before we go live for qualifying. So both practice sessions are live for this weekend in Monaco, then the qualifying and the race normally live as well. Just looking at the Formula E zone show that Jack and Pico have recorded in Monaco. Yeah, Ed, I've got a photo of Jack interviewing. It was on the Motorsport Images. I'll send it across to you now, actually, because it's on my phone. As Sonoda's had a lock-up down into turn 1 as well. So
I'm gutted I can't join you on that, Josh, because I do love Monaco. It's my it's one of my favourite racetracks. I'd probably go as far to say.
Same here.
I'd go as far to say it's probably top 3 on the Formula 1 calendar for me.
Why, you're busy tomorrow at 1:30?
Yeah, I'm out all day. I've got to go down to basically London.
Right. Yeah. Are you going to be crowd king? You going to be crowd king? Is that why you're wearing the shirt?
Oh no, yeah. I personally got my invite. Yeah. No, yes. Unfortunately, I'm out all day, so it's a shame. I would like to watch it.
All right. Join the Discord. Martin's
I'll watch it. I'll be watching the coronation. Trust me, it's got all my coffee, my snacks, and I'll be watching it. That's a fact. I mean, it's a huge event, so be watching.
I unfortunately won't even be watching the coronation, which is a joke. I don't even mind the royal family, and I won't be there supporting it, or whatever.
Martin.
I'll be there in spirit. I'll be there in spirit.
But then they're all doing something slightly different on the apex of 5 because it's not flat out. And especially I saw Leclerc unbelievably quick through 4, and then it was a bit squirrely and a bit slippery through 5. So it becomes more of a challenge at that point as George Russell goes through. The Red Bulls, for example, into 5 can just feather the throttle a little bit. Gently up and gently down. Other drivers, like Lando Norris, off the throttle, back on the throttle. Other drivers, like George Russell, taking a downshift sometimes into turn 5. Obviously, it depends on their fuel level and the grip of the tyres that they have. So they're all just trying to balance their car. For all I can tell, it sounds like they've got traction control, but it's not allowed. What they've actually got, because they don't want to burn any extra fuel, they don't want to carry any extra fuel, the engines are running so lean. Look in the exhaust pipe of a Formula 1 car, and it's beautifully light grey because the mixture's lean. And you can hear the engine, it's all fluffy, misfiring as they come off the throttle, and it flutters around, but they clearly get a nice, clean application then. So they're all treating this turn 5. Tsunoda there taking it very steady. I'll just see if we can see one more car come through here properly, quickly. But it's interesting. Here comes Lewis. That was a downshift. And then when he got back on it, back end of the car squatted down under the load of 1,000 horsepower. And it moved around a little bit, and he had to hesitate again. So they're really having to jockey the car, react to what they've got, depending on the condition of the car as such, tyres and fuel load, as said. Tech Pro barriers here, you often hear us talking about those. You can see the layers. For example, over there is grey, and 2 reds. And then they taper down. The gap in the middle is critical. And then they tie the end pieces down with these ratchet straps, look, to make sure they don't flail out once they get hit. So they're the incredible devices that soak up the really big accidents, but it is important just exactly how they're put together and the gaps between them. And then a good sturdy wall here as the final frontier. And then this young lady here is ready to go. If Gasly didn't collect that up, then it was going to end up somewhere in here. So everybody's ready. Corner workers are ready. And this gentleman's making sure I don't step onto the track, which I've no intention of doing. He doesn't look very happy with me at all. So it's back to you, Crofty. Send me some food in prison, please.
To the gulag with Martin Brundle, please.
What happened? I wasn't listening.
Martin, there's a security. Martin was starting the interview at the side of the track. Oh, and Hamilton's had a rear lockup going through one of the corners as well. where Martin was actually. Yeah, so Martin was at the side of the track, and then he moved away, and then a security guard walked in front of him, looking at Martin very angrily. And Martin said, "Send me some food in prison, please." That was brilliant.
Martin, as
I mean, Miami does have some really good Latin food, so
yeah.
what does Martin want to eat? I mean, you know, he has a variety of stuff to choose from.
What's famous for Miami? What would you send him, Adam? What would you send him?
Probably some. I'll send him some seafood.
Yeah.
I'll send him some corn. I'll send him some vegetables and for dessert, well, I don't know. I mean, it is Cinco de Mayo, so I mean,
yes.
he could have a few margaritas after FP2.
I forgot it was Cinco de Mayo.
Now,
Go on, Josh. You've got news in the pit lane.
I've heard that in Miami, you can get some very hard rock candy.
You're fired. I knew you were going with that one. Just instantly. I know the Hard Rock Stadium. I knew you were going with that one immediately. Oh dear. Okay. Josh, by the way, just coming to you quickly. You're trackside at Brands, aren't you, on Sunday? Are you still joining me for qualifying on Saturday?
F1.
No, touring cars.
If you want me to stream live from a Class 313 on the Sussex coast in the middle of a public transport train, then yes, I can join you for touring car qualifying.
No worries. I'll cover that. It's okay. Cars are tracks. I'm just looking right now at Lance Stroll. He's in the pit lane on the TE feed as well. Texas Motor Speedway was fantastic, by the way. GB Crew. Oh, brilliant. Texas was great as well with the Indy.
It was.
And
yeah, guys, did you hear Lewis Hamilton would want to try IndyCar racing?
No, does he?
I mean,
He did say this actually, yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool to see how he would do against the likes of Scott McLaughlin and Scott Dixon and Will Power. I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool. And also, Esteban Ocon was actually at the Charlotte Motor Speedway testing a NASCAR stock car with RFK Racing a couple days ago on the Roval. So he said he enjoyed it. So I think it's kind of cool to see how these, you know, F1 drivers want to do different disciplines in motorsports. It's cool for the sport.
I mean, let's be honest with ourselves here. If Lewis Hamilton got in an IndyCar and was with a competitive team, he'd probably wipe the floor with everyone in IndyCar. I mean, at the end of the day, this guy is probably the greatest racing driver ever to do it. I don't think there is much. I don't think there is much argument there. You don't win 7 Formula 1 World Championships. Some will tell you 8, but 7. And be statistically the greatest driver of all time and not go to IndyCar and win the championship. But it would be interesting. And I was talking to my dad about this. I would love to see him drive the Indy 500. I think that's what we need. We need these events like the Indy 500, as incredible as they are, to get more legitimacy amongst these new fans that are coming into the sport. Because right now, there's a lot of people who don't think they're quite as prestigious as they actually are. And I think it would take a personality like Hamilton to really bring IndyCar back into the prime.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Fernando Alonso trying to attempt the Indy 500. We've seen previous F1 drivers trying to attempt. So, I mean, if Lewis Hamilton were to attempt to run the Indy 500 and get in, I think that'd be kind of cool. I mean, and look at what Kyle Larson's doing in NASCAR. I mean, he's going to run the Indy 500 next year with McLaren. So why not Lewis Hamilton, you know, find a way over here? I mean, Lewis Hamilton versus Scott McLaughlin. And,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's called, I'll throw in another driver. Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yes,
it's
called,
called,
yes.
Shane Van Gisbergen versus Scott McLaughlin in IndyCar. I'd go pay somewhere to see that. I mean, those two Kiwis.
Take two, isn't it?
Traveling out like they did down under in the Repco Supercar Series. Give me a ticket for that, and I'll go anywhere.
I'd agree with you. I'll follow you because that'd be amazing. Josh, you got news?
All right, Josh. All right.
Oi. My mic just attacked me.
Oh, God.
What's a
Would you want to
surprise?
follow us, Tom? You know, to watch Adrian Gisbergen versus Scott McLaughlin in an IndyCar?
I mean,
Well, sorry, did you say Tom or Josh? Am I going mad?
no,
Okay,
go Tom.
Tom.
You Tom.
Oh, right, sorry.
We'll throw it to Josh.
I thought I was going mad for a moment. It wouldn't be the first time, but I'd quite like Shane Van Gisbergen to stay in V8 Supercars. I quite enjoy watching him race those. But I've finally renewed my my subscription to their Superview service. So I'm excited to get into that.
Good.
the
Yeah,
rest of the- No, I quite like him.
yeah.
I quite like him in V8 Supercars. I'd quite like him to stay. But in the future, when V8 Supercars has got more people, then yes, absolutely, I would love to see him.
Tap my moth again.
I mean, I'd like to see Shane Van Gisbergen, versus Scott McLaughlin. I hope SVG gets that ride for Project 91. For the Chicago Street Race. I mean, I think, it'd be kind of cool to see him running against the likes of Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott and Bubba Wallace. I mean, if he were to get in, I would give him I would have him as an early favorite to win, since he's really good on those street courses down there in Australia and New Zealand. So, SVG, you need to come over here and race in NASCAR.
Yeah. I want to see
I mean,
it.
look at what Marcus Ambrose did. I mean, he was a two-time Repco Supercross champion, and he came over here to the United States. I mean, and he competed in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. I mean, with Dead Called the Nationwide Series, and he competed in the Cup Series, and he won at Watkins Glen. So what's stopping SVG from coming over here to see how he would do? I think it needs to happen like this year or next year.
Josh, you've got news.
Yeah, going back to what about Lewis Hamilton and IndyCar, and I think I've seen Ed in the chat point it out as well. If Lewis does go over to IndyCar and then do the Indy 500, just whatever you do, keep Max Verstappen away, because and that is Russell
Doing a 360 down at turn
10, 11.
10, 11, yeah. So just gets rejoined, but locked up. Had to do a 360.
Yeah, but just keep Max Verstappen way away, because Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen at Indianapolis, going 235 miles per hour. That's not going to end well.
It'd be worse than Silverstone.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, all I gotta say is, the 8500 is coming up, and I wonder if Josh is gonna go out with another crazy pick like he did last year with Marcus Ericsson.
I still got it right.
I know it's almost been close to a year, Josh, but I still can't believe he did that.
I don't even know how I did it myself. That was the first year I was able to watch every single session and commentate on it, and I was like, do you know, I think Ericsson's going to win. So I will do that again at the end of qualifying. I will take a look and see who's going to do it. Alonso's complaining over the radio about Formula 2.
That's a joke. They fight in the free practice.
Just careful.
Yeah.
He's still 2 seconds back. But okay, yeah. You were on a flying lap, and Ocon didn't get out of the way.
Yeah, copy. But the free practice is that moment. It's good.
Okay, so Alonso's saying Ocon blocked me, but it's free practice, so it's good. What has happened to Fernando Alonso? Who mellowed him out? Really weird. Adam, just updating you as well. Are you joining us for some of the practice when you're around?
I will. It's called. If you want, I can join you for FP3 tomorrow, since I will be with you guys for qualifying in the race. I mean, another practice action.
If you're out.
You can sign me up for that, Josh.
Sounds good. And what about the 500?
Actually, I'll be coming home from the NASCAR Xfinity Series race the day before, so but I'll find a way to keep up with it, on USRN. And all I know is I'm subscribed to the USRN YouTube channel, and follow them on social media, because they do a good job with a lot of motorsports content. And they just celebrated doing their 200th NASCAR race at Talladega, so I was fortunate to be a part of that broadcast with Matthew Owens, Matt White, and Seth Eve. So, yeah, it's caught. And I gotta say, Josh, you did an incredible job.
Oh, thank you.
Last minute, doing the NASCAR Cup race in Dover on Monday. So that's pretty cool.
I'll throw praise over to... Oh, we've got a yellow. I'll throw praise over to Josh as well. Oh, it's a Ferrari in the wall with a broken suspension. Red flag. Gets called the bingo. And it is Charles Leclerc who has gone straight on. And that is down at the Marina section. That is a brake failure and a half to go that deep in. I wonder if Martin Brundle's still down there.
That's not a brake failure. He's overcooked that because you can see the tyre marks from where he's locked up as he goes into the wall.
And Josh, like Ben Schneider would say, Ferrari's doing Ferrari things.
Gonna have to drag Ben on for something with the Indy 500 as well. I think it'll be hilarious. We only have at the moment Ben only does one race per year with us, and that's Portland for Formula with myself and you, Adam, as well. So we'll have to see that. But yeah, I think Tom's got this one on the head. Ed saying, Charles, yes, you are stupid in the chat. That's made me laugh. Let's take a look how we did it then in the replay.
I would suspect here that he's gone offline and sort of done a Nico Hulkenberg, and then obviously he carried too much speed. Either that, or he's done something into the corner that has forced him to basically go straight on. We'll see. We're waiting for a replay. Currently getting
I am
shown.
getting France
There we
2022.
go. Here is a replay then. We'll have a look what happened. He went into the corner. That's the chicane. Then up, out, and he went offline.
Yep.
He went offline.
You got that spot on, your karting experience, Tom.
I know.
And like Ed Hunter said in the chat, Charles, yes, you are stupid. Yes, I'll agree with that, Ed. Yes, I'll agree with that.
Oh, Tom.
That might end the session effectively.
Let's hear him.
Yeah.
I crashed into
Good. Good.
Copy. Are you okay? Yeah. Just the front right, obviously, is completely gone. Copy.
Could he have turned the steering?
Oh, if he did, do you know what, that's annoying. If he had just lifted off the brake, he would have had the corner. What do you think, Tom? Because he put full throttle on the brake. If he lifted it, he wouldn't have crashed there, I don't think.
No, because he'd already lost the car at that point. So locking the brake is what stabilised it back and stopping it going back round and sort of going into the wall. So that was pretty much the best he could have done there.
And it's now time for the Charles Leclerc Olympic race as he runs back to the paddock, as it's in the middle of the Hard Rock Stadium as well. And tell you what, some fans are getting quite there. Yeah, maybe not the best place to crash as well and take them in the fan area, not on the interior track lining there. That's quite a weird way to go through. So all the fans getting some extra tickets out there. Charles's words, not mine. Head. It's just clarifying. The Charles Leclerc Formula 1 Marathon. Yeah. Carlos Sainz then will be looking a bit worried. 7 minutes to go with a tyre barrier damage. Well, the technical barrier is damaged as well. I think you're right, Tom. I think that's ending the session, you know. I don't think we're getting enough time.
We might go back green for like a single lap, but I don't see anything much else from there. There's a lady with a Ferrari hat on in the crowd right now, still somehow looking quite happy. I'm not sure whether that's the alcohol or whether that's the evidence of what she's
just seen. I think it's the alcohol. I think it's the alcohol.
For legal reasons, I'm not inciting that lady is on alcohol. It was purely for satire. I know Nick Kyrgios got done for that the other day. So.
As point out, you noticed the drink. I noticed the fact that the camera had to get off her quite quickly due to the very low cleavage that camera angle was showing as well. So that's not well shared at all.
Oh, Josh, I wasn't planning on bringing it up.
Oh, right, okay, so you did. I was going to say, I was very surprised to see that because Formula 1 usually don't do that. Although then again, there was Monaco 2012 when they put Carmen Jordan when she was in a swimming pool, and it was one of the funniest moments because Will Buxton stopped talking. He literally stopped talking. It was hilarious. Omi, what have you made of this session so far? Anything that you've noticed? Because I haven't talked to you for a little bit. He's now scrambling for a mic.
Well, first of all, let's start off with I'm very disappointed, as usual, with that, as a Ferrari fan, so not good at all. But yeah, so De Vries has been struggling this session. He's been having a bit of understeer, so AlphaTauri still have a lot of work to do on his side. Also, a few cars have been struggling with front graining on their race trim, so that's something for the teams to also keep an eye on. And then the wind was also picking up a bit, but staying in the same direction. So, obviously the team's having to adapt a bit, but AlphaTauri is still having to do a bit of work to get De Vries in the right setup. And De Vries is really struggling. It's not been the okay, I think he had a lot of expectations coming in, especially after that race in Monza last year. So he hasn't delivered to any of it. And could he be out by the time we get to the summer break? Well, we're gonna have to find out. But he really does need to up his game in these next 3 races, and he does have chances because we obviously have a triple header coming up as well.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. It would be really quick on that, as we're going to go green with a tyre, a Tecpo barrier that's a little bit damaged, which isn't really F1 standard, but apparently that's what's going to happen. So
they should have at least stretched that back out.
Yeah.
How on earth are they going green with that?
That's giving me actually a bit of worries, because if one can go in, they can all go in. Adam, just quickly coming to you as well. I suggested something this morning to Jess and Josh in FP1, and I'll get Tom your thoughts on this too in a second. If Nick De Vries does get kicked out at halfway in the season, would Danny Ricciardo go into the car to sort of get himself...
I'd like to see Danny Rick back in. I mean, it's not the same without him. I mean, he had a very good personality, and I liked him as a driver. And it is not the same without Danny Rick on the grid. He was a really cool guy. So if Nick De Vries, does end up fired, I'd like to see Danny Rick, back in Formula One.
Green flag. Tom's right. One more lap. Ferrari's back in. Yeah, I agree. I want Danny Rick back as well. Tom, what do you reckon then? Get him match fit, then maybe replace Checo? Unless Checo wins the title, in that case.
They might squeeze 2 in here, I think, actually, with 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes to go. But anyway, no, I think if you are going to get rid of De Vries at this part of the season, which would be disappointing, I don't think he's that bad of a driver. Just taking it, it's quite difficult to adapt now. He's been out of the game for a couple of years. I would argue that this is a failure of the F2 system rather than anything else. But no, I would think that Daniel Ricciardo is the only logical person to go and replace a Nick De Vries, because you can't delve into F2. You can't be giving a rookie sort of a summer break to prepare when they haven't had their pre-season testing. They've probably not even driven an F1 car before. So Daniel Ricciardo is probably the only logical person to put into the car. But then, if Sergio Perez starts coming under pressure, and I suspect if Sergio Perez starts to, challenge for the title, I suspect there's going to be a few voices there at Red Bull that are looking over at Sergio Perez thinking, well, actually, we've got to start to shift you out of this team. So, in fact, you would probably be right that, get Daniel Ricciardo in, and then one of 2 things happens. Either you risk Daniel Ricciardo not doing well, and that alleviates pressure from Sergio Perez, who can think, I can keep doing what I'm doing, and Red Bull don't have a viable option to replace me. Or if Daniel Ricciardo gets in that car and does very well, then Sergio Perez starts to look over his shoulder and think, well, I've got to keep winning these races. And I don't think Sergio Perez is going to sustain winning races.
No, I don't think so either. I'm finding out why I'm being attacked by 70 moths. There's 3 in here. There's 3 in the commentary box. I've never seen that before. This box is getting redone over the next week. Okay, 2 minutes to go. Let's hear from Carlos Sainz.
Radio.
Well, just what happened to Charles? He lost the rear or the front?
He lost the rear.
Okay, simple as. Ed Hunter says, I don't see why Ricciardo would muddle around in an AlphaTauri, and I agree with Tom. De Vries has struggled due to lack of track time. He will eventually get it together like he did in FE. Correct, I agree with you there as well. If they do get replaced, Iwasa. Is Iwasa a shot? I think he's the only one.
No, you don't get a rookie in.
No.
And I'm a hardline on this, because already I think these drivers don't get enough track time before they come into F1. You get 3 days worth of testing, maybe a shakedown if you're lucky of a couple of year-old car. And, now Dominicali leads off talking about how he wants to get rid of practice sessions, and that would, ruin rookie tests and things. How are you're telling us that all of these drivers are rubbish? They've been funneled in. De Vries is obviously not rubbish. He's Formula E World Champion, which albeit isn't the most prestigious series in the world, but he's Formula 2 World Champion. he's done very well in WEC, finished highly in Le Mans many years, and you're giving them 3 days of track time, then chucking them into an F1 season and saying, right, off you go and do well. You know, he finished well at Monza, one off, okay, fair enough, that Williams was suited to Monza, and then you've given him 3 weekends. You're giving these rookies impossible situations to get into. I don't see how we can be expecting the world of them.
Adam, Ed has said in the chat, Mick Schumacher, Merck desperately want him in a car. Is that likely? Would they send him to Red Bull's junior team? Would Red Bull stand for that? To learn from the Honda engine?
Well, I mean, Mick Schumacher, I mean, I didn't have any problem, with him when he was in Formula One, and Mick, I kind of miss him, and as we see the checkered flag is being waved, and who tops FP2? The reigning world champion, driving for Red Bull, Max Verstappen with the Ferrari teammates 2 and 3, and then Checo is in 4th. So Max Verstappen came out top in FP2. So I'll ask you guys, can Max Verstappen win the pole for the Miami Grand Prix tomorrow?
If it's dry, yes. If it's wet, no. That's what I'm saying. What about you, Tom?
Oh, big lock up.
Oh,
I was going to say one of the Ferraris of pole position. Then we've seen Leclerc stack it into a wall, and Carlos Sainz almost stack it into the back of a McLaren.
Oh, and there's a McLaren on the side there as well. Big traffic jam involving Sainz, Alonso, Stroll, Piastri, and Norris, all until the last few sectors, and they're still stuck together on the driver track as well. So nasty lap there as everyone's scrambled around to try and get it through. Josh, what have you got?
Yeah, massive lock up for Perez after the checkered flag into turn 1, and guys, I've been having a look at different stuff on Twitter, and I've done a little bit of research.
Yeah?
Guess who is planning to return to F1 as soon as 2024?
Is it a certain Russian who is...
who is heavily memed on?
Yeah, looks like an egg.
Yeah, I know the driver.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
He'll never come back. If Nikita Mazepin returns to Formula One, I'll retire from commentating with immediate effect. He'll never come back.
That is being clipped.
Do it. He'll never come back. It's job security there. Mazepin will never, ever come back to Formula One.
No, it's called Mazepin will never come back. I mean, I don't think he didn't do a good job while he was here in F1. So, Nikita Mazepin needs to find some other motorsport series, besides Formula One, to participate in. So, I wouldn't want to see it.
Ed says you should have bet you would eat a hat on stream, Josh. But you did that, Ed, and look what happened. You had to eat it. But also, I like my hats. Plus, retiring from commentating is pretty much an easy bet because he's not going to come back. Okay, end of the session. It is what I would do and have done. Yeah, I remember you eating a hat. Where was it? Rome last trip? So, Miami Vice. That goes with Max Verstappen the fastest. 1:31. I believe that's the time. 1:31.984. Because the timing tower has actually changed. I think it's actually a 1:27 something or other, but the timing screen's not showing us the best times at the moment. That's why I really miss my other monitor, which is coming back tomorrow. London 2 years ago. You're right. Go on, Tom.
I actually didn't know what Miami Vice was until I just googled it. I was wondering why you kept saying it. I didn't realise it was a TV show.
Face palm. Massive face palm.
I'd never heard of it.
I'll agree, face palm. Yeah, I mean,
like half the age of you, Tom, and I know what Miami Vice is.
I know what Miami Vice is too, and I used to watch that all the time when I was growing up. So, Miami Vice was a cool TV show. So I remember it very, very well.
I've heard the name. I didn't know it was a TV show.
Watch episode.
You need to find a way to watch a few episodes of Miami Vice, Tom. You'd appreciate it.
And then we'll send you in a helicopter across the sea to introduce the race on Sunday.
Yeah.
There's this very juicy looking Discord button over here. Omi knows what it is. He has experienced it quite a lot. It's a big red button. It's called disconnect.
Send Tom out.
Did I disconnect you after you disconnected me?
You wouldn't care. You would.
Okay, here's the practice results then from the session. It is Max Verstappen fastest, surrounded by the 2 Ferraris as well. Well, how like Miami to be surrounded by the Mafia, if you're Dutch. That's just normal. With the Sainz second and Leclerc third. Perez is 4th, Alonso 5th, Norris 6th, Hamilton 7th, Stroll 8th, Ocon 9th, Albon rounds out the top 10. Gasly 11th, Magnussen 12th, Zhou 13th, Bottas 14th, Russell 15th, Piastri 16th, Hulkenberg 17th, Tsunoda 18th, De Vries 19th, and Sargent in 20th position at his home track and home race. 10 miles away he was born in Fort Lauderdale as well. Okay then, chaps, coming in with this as well. Predictions as well for weather tomorrow, because we've already done pole position. Adam, wet or dry? What's it going to be?
I've been looking at the weather, and from what I've been seeing, it's going to be dry, and high will be 86 degrees. So, if it's dry, watch out for Red Bull. And if it's wet, we'll all be on equal terms.
Tom, what do you think? Wet or dry? I'm agreeing with Adam actually, because he's actually there with better forecast than us.
I would hope it's dry, because at the end of the day, the FIA like to ruin wet
That's
races today. But I think realistically, it's going to be wet at some point. I don't think it's going to be as wet as people say it is, though. I think we'll avoid most of the rain. Please don't clip me on that, because weather's always wrong.
You know, when you say that, Josh has already gone back and clipped it, so it was a waste of time. Yeah, it was 28. It was 20. London 20. There we go. It's London 2021. Yeah, you're right, because he said there would never be a London E-Prix in our lifetimes, and it came back. You're right there, Ed. And he also says our equivalent of Miami Vice is something like the Sweeney or the Professionals. You're right there, actually. Okay.
I also haven't heard of them.
Oh, God.
I'm going to be completely honest with you.
The Avengers, the new Avengers, Steed, Mrs. Peel, Gambit, Purdy.
I've heard of them. The
Kathy
Avengers.
Gale.
And I know what they are.
Tara King. Okay. Omi, coming to you then for a second. What did you make of that practice session down there in the pits?
Yep. Another interesting one, but still not happy about Leclerc crashing, but it's better to do it in practice than me having to deal with that pain on Sunday. So, yeah, but anyway, other than that, obviously the team's continuing to get their running in, and, well, it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. I'm hoping for some wet, but, well, okay, we'll see what we're going to get. And I think Josh also wants some wet so he can quickly get home due to red flags.
That's true. Josh, what do you think?
That'll be interesting.
Josh, what do you think? If you can hear us.
Please be wet. And I have got a certain Tom in my ears in a certain youtube.com/watch/JB Motorsports Miami Grand Prix free practice 2/clip.
Yeah.
And it's sounding very good indeed, Tom.
I know the clip. You know the clip.
Right, we'll get that sorted. Right, my thanks to Omi and Josh in the pit lane. My thanks to Adam and Tom in the commentary box. My thanks to all of you for watching as well. Right, big day tomorrow. We are live for Formula E Practice 1 and 2, just because it's easier. Qualifying, me and Ed are together again for the action. Nice to have him back in the comms box after a while. And then the race as well is at 1:30 p.m. British Summer Time. Then straight after we'll have the British Touring Car Championship qualifying from Brands Hatch, India as well. And then in the evening we'll have free practice 3 and qualifying for the Miami Grand Prix. It's going to be a busy weekend. Then Sunday, well, that's just 3 touring car races and a Formula 1. Perfect way to spend post-coronation hangovers. Although, maybe put me on mute because I'm a bit loud. My thanks to you, Adam. My thanks to you, Tom. My thanks to Josh and Naomi as well. My thanks to Jess for FP1 as well. And Ed, I'll see you tomorrow as well. From us all here, good night from Miami.
Bye for now.